the Uncovering Greatness podcast. I am your co-host, as always, Suleiman Steele. And today I am joined by the one and only Michaela Mitchell. But before we get into that, just want to run through some dates that we have, some events that we have coming up till the end of the year. As always, we have Circle of Influence that happens every Thursday at Corporate Conference Center. 100 Rand if you book through our website, and 150 Rand if you pay at the door. And then on the 27th, right? For Ignite Your Sales. 28th of November is the Ignite Your Sales program. It is a free event. All you have to invest is 2 hours of your time, and you'll basically be learning some tools and techniques around sales, and actually more, I'd say more so around personal development and growth, from Barry Mitchell. Probably the best sales trainer in Africa, if not the globe currently. And then on the 1st of December, we have our final cash flow game of 2023, the Cash Flow Club. It is a Friday evening. It is from 6 to 9, $100 per person, 500 Rand per table. If you really want to explode your understanding of money and financial literacy, this will be an incredible program for you and your family. And then on the 2nd of December, which is a Saturday, we have the Awaken Your Greatness course with Nicole. That is from 9 to 12 with a 3-hour session, something that really helps you, one, become present with yourself, and two, become present with the world around you and what's actually going on. But more importantly, the things that are important to you. So if you guys are looking to book at any of our events, which we do encourage you to do, www.uncoveringgreatness.com is where you can check it out. And now we begin. That was a buzz. You're here with Michaela. So Michaela, for those peeps who don't know who you are, please could you introduce yourself?
Cool. My name is Michaela Mitchell. Yes, I am Barry's daughter. I run the back end of our public events in South Africa, head up Circle of Influence and do all the logistics for that. And I'm here to learn. I'm learning about sales. I'm on that journey.
Yeah. So today, what Michaela and I are going to be talking about is we're going to be talking about some of the stuff that we've learned this year, being a part of the Uncovering Greatness team. And just, what roles we play, how we play it, and, what we do, just basically what we do. So, let's kick it off. So you basically you run Circle, right? So that influence our weekly breakfast. So what has been some of the key things that you picked up this year just from Circle and things on?
I think one of the big things is definitely following process. In terms of, having a process of who's coming, knowing your numbers, following up with the people that haven't been there in a while. And I think just, keeping track of how many people, the numbers, the money, that thing's been really big this year. To, track how much we've grown, where we've got wrong, and then we can improve on that.
Yeah. So, you something you said, which got me thinking, was the whole speaking to people who haven't come in a while. Yeah. Right. And from a business aspect, that's kind of like, that's returning customers.
Yeah. Keeping them.
Yeah. Which is actually a key aspect of, some of the stuff that Barry teaches is finding and keeping customers. So that's actually the purpose of a business, is to find and keep customers. How has that process been like in terms of finding and keeping customers, especially when it comes to something like Circle, which is like every single week? How has that been for you?
So we have our regulars. There's maybe 20 regulars that come every single week. And, there's the one or two that if they can't make it, they'll send a message and say, sorry, I can't make it this morning, something's happened. But it's about those, those regulars that'll come 3 weeks and then they don't come for 2 months. And then they'll come another 4 weeks. And it's about following up with them and saying, just want to find out, it's all good, we're missing you, make them feel appreciated, make them feel like you want them to be part of your world. And then, when you're coming again, find out what's happening in their world, get into their world and, finding out how you can help and things like that.
And that's actually not from a from a pestering standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Because I can imagine for me, but like and maybe for people that are even watching this, it's like it's almost a thing of, is that coming from a genuine place in terms of like, hey, how are you? Like we haven't seen you in a long time. What's going on? That how important is it that it comes from a genuine place versus from a point of, I just want you to be here so I have the numbers so that we get money in the bank.
Yeah, 100% what you're saying. Barry often says people in small fake. And I'm not phoning them every single week. I'll phone them and say, hey, I just wanted to find out how you're doing. We haven't seen you in two or 3 weeks. Like, what's happening? And then they'll say, things are busy for this month, but I'll be there next month. I'm not going to phone them next week and find out, like, why you're not chilling. If they don't arrive next month, I'll give them a call and say, like, I just wanted to follow up, find out how things are going, if you had a good month. And then when will we be seeing you again? Because I know you did mention you're thinking about coming back next month or this month now. So it's, just like being genuine, taking notes, and being attentive and present to the people around you.
And that's actually a big one, right? Because I think it's something I've noticed, for example, when you're not there. Because if you're not there, that means that I have to do registration and stuff, which never really goes well. And I think it also, for me, it shows the importance of being present. Like, people's names, who people, before you see them coming when they haven't even yet entered the building and you've already gotten the name written down. How important is it in your role in, being like head of sales basically at Uncovering Greatness? How important is it being present to who people are and their names?
Well, I do think it makes people feel important. It makes them feel like they, we want them in their world, in our world. And oh wow, they remembered my name. I only came once and she remembered my name. And I think that is a big thing. It is very important to learn people's names, to get to know them, find out what they're doing. And then it's just the little things that make them feel wanted and feel like, oh, she remembered my name. She asked me a question like how my kids are doing. And I feel like I'm part of that, so I want to come back. And I'm not saying that I'm the only reason that they come back. It's definitely not. But we create that environment of, they feel welcome, they feel safe, and they feel important, because people want to feel important.
That's very true. I think you do see that difference when it's, if you've ever been to Circle when Michaela's not there, I'm running registration. I'm sure you've seen the chaos and confusion that's happening, because that's just not really my strong point. And I think that's been a big lesson for me as well, right? It's really being present to people, not just being present to the event, being present to people and who they are and getting to know them, because I know that I tend to just do what I got to do and be done with it. So you've also been, you've done, for 2023, you've done 4 sales explosions.
4 sales.
4 sales explosions. What has been like the key learnings when it comes to doing something like, or running an event like Sales Explosion?
So before you get to running is, I think, putting people in the room.
Right.
That's massive. And one of the biggest learnings I've taken out this year is trusting the process and, being open to trying new things and, to submit. Because Barry's been saying for years, we've had people selling programs for him and getting people into the room for ages. And only this year, I really started doing it properly. And I think he's been saying, we've got to do free previews, we've got to do free events for years. Previous trainers, all sorts of things. And this year, I finally decided I'm going to submit. And it changed the game completely. Getting people in, I got people in to come, 60 people for a free event and 10 people signed up. And the goal was to have 30 people signed up for the program that was in 2 months. There's already, a third of my work done because I decided to submit and put people in a room. And, I could definitely see the one event I had 60 and then the next event I had 10 and only one person signed up. And, you can't have 10 people and expect all 10 to sign up. And I think that's knowing your numbers, knowing, your target markets and all of those things. And if our ratio is for every 10 people, one person signs up. If I want 10 people to sign up, I need 100 people in the room. On a good day, 60 people in the room, 10 people will sign up. But that's a good day.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, I think, one of the biggest lesson this year has been for me is submitting to the process and then actually doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, some key things that I picked up there from what you said is one, submitting to the process. And I think as we've experienced it, we've been around other, obviously, we're not knocking anybody, but submitting to the process of do a free preview, then move people from there. Because I know that was a big learning for me as well this year, was because I was doing Awaken Your Financial Genius, but the lead into Financial Genius is the cash flow game.
Yeah.
Right? Use the cash flow game. People play the game. If they're doing it because we do one every month, if they're doing that every single month, they're getting used to playing the game and getting used to understanding it, which then will make it easier for them to want to move into something like Awaken Your Financial Genius versus like what I was doing was sign up for Awaken Your Financial Genius. I was trying to change the process.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that you mentioned, which is process, which is it's such a simple thing. And I think something like that Barry teaches a lot of is people get bored of the process.
Yeah.
So you try and change it and tweak it to do different. You make it too fancy and then actually nothing really happens and it kind of just sucks when there's already a process in place. But also something that you mentioned, which is super important, and I mean, just listening to you speak is your numbers. Yeah, right. Understanding the numbers, like understanding those ratios. If you're going to put 60 people in a room, you'll get 10 to sign up. If you put 10 in a room, you'll get 1 to sign up.
Yeah.
And I mean, how important is that? Like, so for example, so sort of setting yourself up for the win, right? If you're getting 60 in, you can get 10 people to sign up, which means that you have way more time to get another 20 for the 50 that you want in the room, right?
100%. And also knowing that for free events, only if 60 people register, 40 people are going to arrive. It's a free event. It's, you know, they don't have skin in the game. They haven't put anything towards it that's actually holding their place. So yeah, I'm coming. I registered online, but you know, something came up. My fish is sick. You know, so it's a reason for me not to come. It's raining. We had that one. 30 people had booked, and we had like 6 sign up and actually rock up because it was raining. And that's another thing is, but 60 people booked, 60 people are not.
I mean, that for me, from my perspective, I feel like that also comes down to like target market, right? It's like and especially our target market. And I'm like, there's like a few people that I'm already thinking about that I saw at the free events, then I saw them at Circle, and then I saw them at Sales Explosion.
Yeah.
And they actually are the target market. They've been in business for more than 5 years. They felt the pain of being self-employed or being an entrepreneur, being by themselves, and then finding this environment that allows them to thrive and to grow. And I think that that's actually so like that for me also was a big learning, was watching that process of how people move. Because people may not decide. I mean, we've seen how many people come to the free event. They're going to come every single month to the free events and not commit. And we're okay with that. It's not an issue because you're giving yourself the opportunity to learn. But it's also about time and timing.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't go, hey, well, you've been to like 6 free events. You need to sign up.
Yes.
Why don't you?
Time and timing, I guess. If it's not right for them, they're going to feel like they're being pushed into something.
Yeah.
And then you've lost them for good. You know, we had a lady that came to, I think, 3 free events, and she was going to come to the previous Sales Explosion. And like the week before, she was still saying, yes. And the week after, she was like, sorry, I can't come. And we were like, cool, no problem. Followed up with her. And then the last Sales Explosion, she came. And it was the week before that Sales Explosion, I just followed up and I said, listen, you mentioned last time you still wanted to come to this one. Just want to find out, is that something you still want to do? She was like, I'm 100% there. And it just, the time and timing wasn't right. You know, you don't know what's going on at home. You don't know what's going on with someone, like in any area of their lives.
So how important is it to stay connected? Like, because that to me sounds like being connected to somebody. It's not about, I'm trying to sell you into this thing. You may know that the person needs it, right?
Yeah.
Based on the information, because I feel like you connect with people tell you their stories and what's going on with them. So for you like, you need this. This will definitely help you.
Yeah.
But at no point in time were you ever like, You got to do it. Yeah. Why not? I mean, so it's time and timing, but what else would be like, especially for you, what you've learned, especially when, like when you're supposed to hit 30 people, but you're on like 23 and you're trying to push it over. So why don't you then force people who said that they were going to come?
Because then they don't get everything they need to get out of it. And then they feel like, oh, I'm just here because Michaela like pushed me into it.
That's bad.
And that's the thing is when we don't hit our numbers, like the week before you got 25 people and you agreed to have 30 people, you become desperate. And if you have, if I have enough free events and I put people in the room and I get that 30, then I'm not, trying to find pennies on the floor like the week before so that, and also I think another thing is like fishing in the same pond.
Yeah.
We become like, oh, this is my little pond, and I need 5 more people to come to the program. I'm going to go and find this person that's come to every circle and come to this, but I know that it's actually not the right time for them, but I'm going to pressure them into coming. And, it's so important, like getting to know people, getting to know what's going on and connecting with them and being present in their space, finding out what's happening in their world. Because in my world, like I want 30 people, but if that person's not right, I can't force them to come.
Yeah, and I mean, it could actually then not just, as you said, they feel forced, like it's like, oh, Michaela said I must come. It's not only that, and you also said they don't really get the learnings that they need to when they're at the program. And also that could ultimately impact how they refer us to other people, right? Because it's like, oh no, these people are desperate. So I wouldn't recommend you go to their programs. So we did UGE, when did we do Ultimate Greatness Experience in August? That was a crazy one. That was a wild. Because I think what I'm trying to basically do is cover like all the events that we've been a part of, seen, and actually, this is one I wanted to talk about, the cash flow one. Yeah, no, it's all over the place. But no, there was the cash flow game that we had once, and I think we had like 60 people.
Yeah,
that thing was crazy. There was so many people there. There was so much happening. There was a lot of chaos, and
we did that like 2 times in a row. So we did like 50, and then the month after that we did 60. And the first time was like, oh, we'd really worked hard to put these people in the mood. Do you remember we like the week before we were still calling like, are you sure you want to come? Do you want to bring a table? Or do you just want to bring yourself? Like we were actually like pushing really hard. We got like 50 people.
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, what a win. And then the time after that, we got like 60, and it was pure chaos because Barry wasn't there.
Yep.
And people thought Barry was going to be there. And so I don't know if you want to.
Yeah. So I mean, that was for me, it was, and I think it was something that Nicole had said to me, for us, and you're actually right, that first one where we hit 50, that was putting in the work.
Yes.
When we hit 60, I actually don't think we put in as much work as we did when we put 50.
Not even close.
It just kind of worked out, right? It was one of those flash in the pan moments.
Yeah.
And then we had the next one, and that thing just tanked.
But right? we hit 60. We're like, wow, look how much we're like, this is amazing. We've done so much work. Yeah. And now we're finally having like 60 people. We've done 50, now we've done 60. And then the month after that, it was like,
and now we're finally having like 60 people. We've done 50, now we've done 60.
Going on?
And then the month after that, it was like,
side, right, what happened was, I just stopped following the process. Because in that situation, in that time period, I think we were now focused on sales disclosure, which meant that's what your focus was, which is perfectly normal because that's what you're supposed to be doing. Whereas, and my focus was cash flow.
Perfectly normal.
Instead of just following the process again, I was like, I mean, if I just talk to these couple of people that
just following the process
60, it will happen again.
I mean, if I just
tried that and it actually failed miserably, and then I was kind of stuck, and I was like, what in the world is going on here?
Failed miserably,
and then I was realization that it's actually
what in the world?
Yes, you can work hard and you can do all of those things. You'll get lucky sometimes, like Barry says.
Yes,
sometimes somebody will feel sorry for you. But if you don't follow the process, if you don't follow what you're supposed to be doing, like picking up the phone. So, for example, a very simple process is call people who have been to cash flow.
Yeah, that's it. We've got a list of, 300 people that have been to cash flow in the last 5 years. Phone every single one and say, you enjoyed it, or, where have you been? Like, we'd love to have you for the next one. Did you know that this was happening? Because a lot of time people fall off the grid. They don't realize, I didn't get your emails, or I didn't see on Facebook. And I didn't know that this was happening. And I think that's an important thing, is like actually connecting with people.
Yeah, and I think like that's the importance of actually getting on the phone, right? Because like you say, I didn't see your email, I didn't see it on Facebook. Just those two things alone. I mean, I know for myself, I probably get about 20 emails in a day.
Just those two things alone. I know for myself, I probably get about 20 emails in a day.
I don't even know what's going on. And then for Facebook, that's just its own different mess. It's
I
very
don't
easy
even know what's going on.
for people
And
to
then
not
for
connect,
Facebook,
right?
that's just its
If
own
I pick up the
different
phone and I
mess.
call
So
you,
it's very
unless you
easy
are not
for
actively trying to
people not
ignore me,
connect, right?
that's a
If
very
I pick up
different
the phone
story.
and I call you,
But
unless
most
you
people
are
will
not
pick up
actively
their
trying
phones
to
and say,
ignore
hey,
me,
how are you? And then you
that's
get
a
the chance to
very
engage with
different
them. And
story.
like you say,
But
hey, I
most
haven't seen
people
you in a
will pick
while.
up their phones
Are you
and say,
okay?
hey, how are you? And then
Just
you get the
checking in.
chance to engage with them. And like you said,
genuine.
hey, I haven't
Yeah,
seen you in a
and
while.
also then,
Are you
then
okay?
you are now then
Just
you
checking
open
in.
up the opportunity to actually
Be
say to
genuine.
people,
Yeah,
listen, we're having
and
this
then
event. I know
then
that
you
you've
are
always
now
enjoyed
then
coming
you
to
open
Cash
up the
Flow.
opportunity
We're
to
having it,
actually
maybe
say
you
to people,
don't
listen,
you
we're
don't know
having this
about
event.
it.
I know that you've always
Here it
enjoyed
is.
coming
It's
to Cash
so
Flow.
much simpler
We're having
than
it,
trying
maybe you
to,
didn't know about it.
I guess, force
Here it
people
is.
into
It's
doing
so
something that
much
they don't want to
simpler
do,
than
especially
trying
when
to,
you, like you said, when
I
your
guess,
numbers
force
aren't
people
right.
into doing something that they don't
That's
want
what
to do, especially
that
when
ends
you,
up happening,
like
and I
you
think
said,
that
when your
happens a lot
numbers
in
aren't
businesses
right.
and
That's what
especially when it
that
comes
ends
to
up
sales.
happening. And I
People
think that
get
happens a lot
incredibly
in
desperate
businesses
because I
and
haven't hit my numbers, and you only
especially
do
when it
that
comes to sales.
maybe
People
like the
get
last
incredibly
week of when you
desperate
need
because
to
I
be
haven't hit my
reporting stuff,
numbers,
or
and you only do
for the
that
outcast last
maybe
week
like
of an
the
event.
last week
Then it's
of
like,
when
oh
you
God,
need to be
really?
reporting stuff, or
Yeah, let's find that guy that
last week
6
of an
months ago
event.
told me he was
Then it's like,
interested
oh my God,
in,
really?
I know that he's not the
Yeah,
right
let's
person,
find
but
that
I need
guy
him to come.
that
Yeah.
6 months ago told me he
Yeah,
was
and I mean,
interested
we had
I
one
know
of those
that he's not
cash
the
flows,
right
right?
person,
Where it
but
was
I need him to
all
come.
the
Yeah.
wrong people in the
Yeah,
room at that
and I
point
mean,
in
we had
time.
we had
and
one
it
of those
was
cash
just
flows, right? Where it
absolute
was all the wrong
carnage,
people in
chaos.
the room
And
at that point in
that
time.
affects
and it
how
was
we
just
do what we do,
absolute
because essentially we're not
carnage,
working
chaos.
towards
And
our target
that
audience.
affects how
Right,
we
and
do
each,
what
and
we
it's
do,
funny because like each
essentially we're
event
not
has a
working
different
towards
target audience,
our
but
target
ultimately
audience.
they can,
Right, and
you
it's
can
funny because
connect
like
it.
each event has a different
every
target
single, so
audience, but
somebody
ultimately
who
they
wants
can,
to be, who wants to
you can
increase their
connect
financial
it.
literacy,
But every single
may not
somebody
want
who
to do
wants
Awaken
to
Your
be,
Greatness just
who wants
yet.
to increase their financial
But
literacy,
if you can connect them to being
may
present
not
with their
want
money
to
and making
do
your
Awaken
great,
Your Greatness just yet.
and those are the things you
But
start
if
to
you
learn
can
and
connect them
understand
to
when
being
you
present with their money
when
and
you're
making your
doing
great.
the right things and
And
doing
those are
it
the
from,
things you
like
start
you've
to
been
learn
saying,
and
from a
understand
genuine place.
when you're doing
And
the
being
right
desperate,
things,
like
and
people
doing
have
it
this,
from, like
we
you've
had
been
one
saying,
cash
from a
flow where
genuine
we had
place.
like 10 people arrive,
And being
and this
desperate,
table
like, we have this,
told me they
we
were
had one
coming,
cash
and then
flow
I
where we
phoned
had
them
like
like
10
at 6
people
o'clock, like,
arrive,
where are you guys?
and this
The one
table
chick goes, Yana,
told me
we're
they
on
were
our way,
coming,
but
and then I
the one
phoned them,
girl
like,
that was
at
coming
6
with
o'clock,
us,
like, where are you
she's
guys?
got a
The
2-year-old
one chick
and
goes,
the
Yana, we're on our way,
babysitter
but the
cancelled.
one girl
I'm
that
not
was coming with
babysitting,
us,
no.
she's
But I
got a
wanted people in
2-year-old
the room, and I was like,
the
no problem.
babysitter
Bring
cancelled.
bring
I'm
the
not
2-year-old with,
babysitting.
and I will
But I
sit
wanted people
and
in
look
the room,
after
and I
your
was like, no
2-year-old.
problem.
And never
Bring the 2-year-old with, and I will sit
Not,
and look after your
not my
2-year-old.
expertise.
Never again.
I mean, that's what happens,
Not-
right? So like you end
not
up
my
in
expertise.
positions, and I mean, if you
I
then you
mean,
try and
that's
flip
what that's
this
what
into like
happens, right? It's like you end up in
business that isn't
positions, and I mean, if you
events-driven, for
let me
example.
try and flip this
You need
into
to
like
hit your sales numbers,
business that
and
isn't
you basically just
events-driven, for
Yeah.
example.
you haven't done the work.
need to
You haven't
hit
done.
your
You haven't
sales
followed the
numbers
process in which you need to
and
follow.
you
And now you're in the last week of the month where you need to now report your numbers, and your numbers are low. So what you do is you reach out to people who may end up damaging the company more so. It actually ends up being those people that complain more. They try and take more out of you than necessary. They want to discount, they want all those things, and you do it because you're desperate. And like that's been such a big learning for me this year as well, is that desperation part.
That's been such a
Man,
big
it
learning
happens.
for me this
You know,
year
it
as
happens,
well,
especially
is that
when you're not hitting
desperation
your
part.
numbers. And
Oh man, and it
the
happens.
crazy thing is,
It
I feel like
happens
with what
especially
we
when
do,
you're not hitting your
is that you
numbers.
can
And
see it in a room.
Yeah.
the crazy
That's
thing is, I
what
feel like
tells
with
you
what
that
we do
you didn't do what you said.
is that you can see it in a room.
You know, you say you phoned 300
That's
people,
what
and
tells
if
you
it's
that
just 5
you
people
didn't
in the
do what
room,
you
what's
said.
going on?
Yeah. You know, you
But
said
you
you phoned
clearly,
300
even
people.
you, like,
Sometimes
that's how I
what's
feel. Like,
going
clearly
on?
I suck at
So you clearly,
or I'm
even
not
you
following the
like
process
that's,
correctly.
sometimes that's how I
That's
feel. Like clearly, I
basically like
suck
when
at
I've realized this is what it comes down to.
I'm not following the process correctly.
You don't follow the process correctly.
Basically,
you know, you're trying to do it in a way that suits you, and
you don't follow the process correctly.
Yeah.
You know,
I think like we had a meeting today, which was a huge awakening, and I think it was one of those things where
meeting today, which was
I always
huge
feel like
awakening. And I think it was one of those
most
things
of our
where,
Monday meetings, you're gonna get uncomfortable.
yeah, I always feel like
It's part and
you're
parcel of what
in
we
most of our
do.
Monday meetings, you're gonna
Because
get
if
uncomfortable.
we are not, I feel at
Right?
least, and that was a
Yeah,
big
it's part
lesson
and
for me.
parcel of what
I'm not
we
uncomfortable in our meetings
Because
where we are
if we
honest
not-
and
I
clear
feel
with
that
each
this-
other.
that was a big lesson
It makes
for
it
me.
very
I'm not
difficult for us to go
uncomfortable
out and do that at
where we
events.
are honest and clear
If,
with each other.
you know, like
It makes
we
it
always
very
speaking about
difficult for us to
context
go
and
out
keeping
do
our
that at
context
events,
tight.
yeah.
The moment
You
that
know,
is
like,
not
we
tight,
always speaking about context and
we the
keeping our
ones
context tight.
yeah, we
The
the ones who
moment
end up
that is
suffering
not
and struggling.
tight,
And from a delegate's
we the ones-
perspective, you may never
Yeah,
see
we
it.
the ones who end
You
up
may never know that
suffering and
that's happening,
struggling, and
but
from a
us,
delegate's
we're like,
perspective,
oh
you may
goodness,
never
this-
see
all
it.
these things are
You may
missing. This
never
is
know that
missing,
that's happening.
and it just
For
doesn't
us,
really.
we're like, oh,
It's not
goodness,
really
yes, all
conducive.
these things are missing. This is missing.
So I wanted to talk
And it just doesn't
about
really-
the ultimate
it's not
greatness
really conducive.
experience. I think this is
So I wanted to talk about
something
the
always
ultimate
seems to come up.
greatness experience. I think this is
Don't want to be here.
something always seems to come up.
Everyone knows this.
I just don't want to be
so
there.
funny because
There you go.
it's, I feel as though that's
Everyone knows
the one
this.
point in time I
It's so
actually come
funny
alive.
because
Yeah.
And
I
I
feel
don't
as though
expect you
that's
not
the
to.
one point in time I actually come
I'm
alive.
like,
Yeah.
whoa, it's,
And-
And I
it's
don't.
so
I'm
you're
not
not
doing
it's something
I'm
that
like,
I didn't
whoa,
even
it's-
say.
and it's so weird, but
processed
I
it
think
with
that
Nicole in terms of trying to translate
It's something that I didn't said, and
like the ultimate greatness experience into my everyday life.
Yeah.
Right, and it's
Like the ultimate greatness
it's still
experience
incredibly challenging.
into my everyday
And I think
life.
one of the main
Right, and
reasons and
it's-
something that I'm learning more
It's
of now
still
is
incredibly challenging.
it's so
And I
much
think,
about the
one of the main
environment.
reasons and something that
Like,
I'm learning more of now
usually
is
you are
it's
gone for 5
so much about the
Yeah.
environment.
It's like see, that's the difference going on, and all of it
Usually you are
for
gone
5
for
days. You
5
know it's
days.
high.
You
Yeah.
are-
No, it's see,
in the
you're in
heat,
of the
in
bush.
the pressure, and all of it
Unless
for
you're gonna climb
5
up
days.
some
You're gonna know
rocks
it's
and
high.
leave.
No, it's
You're in the middle of the bush.
This is what is happening.
unless you're gonna
And I
climb
think
up
that's
some
been
rocks
so
and leave.
like one
You are here,
great thing
and
for
this
me
is what
about
is
Ultimate
happening.
Graces
And I
experience
think
this
that's
year
been
was
so cool. Like one
on day
great
2,
thing for me
I
about
got
Ultimate
so
Graces
freaking
experience this
sick.
year
Like
was
I was dying.
on day 2. I got so
See, that's what I'm
freaking
saying.
sick.
I was able to,
dying.
but old me would have made sure that.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and you would have
I was able
probably
to-
stayed in bed.
But
Yeah,
old
oh, sorry,
me
guys,
would have
guys.
made sure that all of you knew.
I didn't
Yeah,
think I
and
was
you
there
would
on
have
day 2.
probably stayed in bed.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Guys, I can't.
The whole 5 days.
I
Yeah,
didn't
like
think I was
taking
there.
medication every night after I went to bed,
No,
and
I was sick
wasn't
for the whole
working.
5 days.
Yeah.
I've been
But
taking
it was
medication
one of those things that
every night before I went to bed.
For
and
me,
it
it's like it's
wasn't
exactly
working.
what we
But
teach.
it was
is
one of those things
when
that
the heat
you know,
and pressure
it's-
kicks
for
in,
me, it's like
default
exactly
back
what
to
we
your
get when
worst
we
health.
teach is
And
when the
for
heat and
me,
pressure kicks in.
ever since we
default
started
back
doing the
to
ultimate
your
greatest
worst health.
experience,
And
my
for
default
me,
is to push
ever
through
since we
at the
started
ultimate
being the
greatest
ultimate
experience.
greatest experience,
Everywhere
my
else, I'm like,
default is to
guys, I'm
push
sick.
through.
No,
at the
we
ultimate
have
greatest
sales
experience.
expressions where we're like,
Everywhere
"What's
else,
City
I'm
coming
like,
this weekend? Oh,
guys, I'm
I
sick.
don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we
Oh
have
yeah,
sales
we were
expressions
bets
where
like,
we're
oh, Sully, you haven't been to
Sully
like
coming this
the
weekend?
Saturday
I don't know.
Fairs and we
Oh
have to
yeah,
do
we'll
this
make
now.
bets like, oh, Sully,
And,
you haven't been to
you
like
know, but
the
then when you get to
Saturday
the ultimate
sales
greatness
versions,
experience,
you have to do
so he
this
stands
now.
up and he's like, right, I'm
you
gonna
know,
do this.
But
I'm
then
gonna
when you
like
get to
knock
ultimate
all of
greatness
these things out.
experience, Sully stands
And
up
it's
and he's like,
like,
right,
where is
I'm
this
gonna
guy
do
coming?
this. I'm gonna like knock all of these
It's
things
like,
out.
I should ask myself.
And it's
You know,
like,
we're
where
like
is this guy
preparing
coming
for
from?
like the last two.
It's the same
I'm
question I asked
Yeah.
myself.
You know,
When did
we
we
like
have the first one?
preparing
March.
for
March.
like the last
March,
two.
ended
I
up in
haven't
hospital a week
Yeah.
before, had surgery.
been. When did we have the first one? March.
I was gonna
March.
push through.
March. Ended
And
up in
everyone
hospital a week
made
before,
me
had
home.
surgery.
Because I was
Gonna
so
push
sick.
through.
Yeah.
And everyone
Yeah.
sent me home.
And you stepped up. I mean,
Because
Nicole
I
said
was
that that's
so sick.
like,
Yeah.
she was amazed
You
by
know?
how
Yeah.
you just pulled up your socks
And
and
you
you were like,
stepped up.
let's
I mean,
go,
Nicole
go, go.
said that
And you were
that's
prepared
like,
to do
she
everything.
was amazed
Whereas
by how
we've
you
never
just
really seen
pulled
that
up your socks
in
and you were like,
our
let's
other
go, go,
events.
go.
Yeah.
And you were prepared
And
to
then
do
same thing
everything.
now in August.
Whereas we've
I was
never
on
really
provincial
seen
hockey
that
tour.
in
Came
our
back
other
2 days
events.
later. The
And
timing
then
just
same
didn't
thing
work
now in
again.
August. I was on provincial hockey tour.
Avowed like
Came
2
back
days
2 days
late.
later. The
And so
timing
he's
just
there
didn't
like
work
in the heat
again.
then doing all this
Avowed
stuff.
like
And I
2
think
days late.
it slowly
he's
started
there,
to
like, in the
like
heat
turn
of
into like the
everything,
day-to-day
doing
stuff
all
as
this
well.
stuff.
You
And I think
slowly started to
it slowly started to
you know,
like,
get
turn
into the
like,
heat and pressure of
day-to-day
everything.
stuff
You're
as
standing in it and
slowly
you're just
to,
pushing through now.
Get
Yeah,
into the heat
I
and
think
pressure
that's
of
actually
everything. You're
been
standing in it and you're
probably
just pushing through
my
now.
biggest learning
Yeah,
this
I
year
think that
is
that's
actually
actually
wanting
been
it. Whereas
probably
before, I
my
didn't want it.
biggest
Like, I
learning
wanted
this year is
nothing to
actually
do with the heat
wanting
and
it.
pressure.
Whereas
It
before, I
was
didn't want it.
coming to an
I
event,
wanted
serve,
nothing to
and
do
that
with
was
the
it.
heat and pressure.
But now,
It was
especially with
coming to
doing
an
so
event,
many
serve, and that
ultimate
was it,
greatness
yeah.
experiences,
But
including
now, especially
attending
with
it myself,
doing
and I
so
think that was
many
actually the big shift
ultimate
for me,
greatness
was
experiences,
attending it
including,
and being in the heat and
attending it
pressure
myself. And I think that was
from
actually
the
the
word
big
go.
shift for me. me
because
was attending it and being in the heat and
it's
pressure.
different being in the back
from
end.
the word
You know, you
go.
get to watch people
Because-
like suffer.
Yeah.
You know,
it's
and
different being
face
in the
this heat
back
and
end,
pressure,
you know, you get
and
to
that's cool.
watch
Like,
people,
oh
like,
look, you know, I'm learning so
suffer.
much, but
Yeah.
when you actually
and
get thrown
face
into
this
that,
heat and pressure.
and I was the
And
same.
that's
I
cool,
was like,
oh look,
oh,
you know,
okay,
I'm
I'm
learning
gonna
so much,
actually
but when
do
you
it.
actually get
It
thrown
wasn't
into
really
that,
that much,
and
but
I was
choice,
the
but
same.
I
I
did
was
it.
like, oh,
And I
okay,
actually
I'm
learned,
gonna
like,
actually do it.
I can sell.
It wasn't really
Yeah.
that much.
And I made
by
more
choice,
money
but I
that
did
weekend
it.
than I think I've
And I actually
made.
learned, like,
Well,
I
add to
can
that
sell.
point in my life,
Yeah.
more money
And I made
than
more
I'd
money
made
that
ever.
weekend than I think I've
And then I was
made.
like,
Well,
okay, well now I
add to
can
that
take
point
this
in my life,
into the
more
real
money
world.
than I'd made ever.
Yep.
And I think that's what's like
And
so
then I was
important
like,
in what we
okay,
do.
well
Is
now I
it's-
can take this.
you know, and
into
now
the
we've
real
started.
world.
We have this new
Yep.
rule
And I
that
think
we
that's
have to
what's like
sit
so
in
important
the
in what we
rooms.
do is
Right.
it's,
And I think
you know,
in
and
the
now
last
we've
3
started,
weeks we've
we have
learned
this
more.
new rule that we have to sit
We're-
in the rooms. And I
you know,
think
just
in the
being there,
last 3
being
weeks
present and
we've
being
learned more.
attentive rather than sitting outside smoking and doing
You
what
know,
we
just
do.
being there,
Yeah,
being
Nicole
present
Bird
and being
watched this
attentive
episode.
rather
Yeah,
than
Nicole
sitting
Bird.
outside smoking.
But yeah,
and
like
doing
Miguel
what we
is
do.
right. The past
Nicole
3 weeks
Bird
have been
watched
nuts,
this
and and also just being
But yeah,
being
like
put in that
Michaela is
heat and
right. The
pressure,
past
being
3
put
weeks
in
have
it,
been nuts.
I think,
you know, and
that's
also
the
just
great thing about being on
put
this
in the
team
heat and
is
pressure, being
that
put in it.
they
You know, I think,
Golden
and that's
Bay
the great
don't
thing
allow you
about
to
being
play
on this
small.
team is
They'll
that
they'll watch
they-
you. They'll watch you faff
Golden
around
Bay
and
don't
faff
allow
around,
you
and
to
then
play
eventually
small.
it's straight into the
they'll
fire.
watch you,
And
they'll
everyone's
watch
in
you
the heat and
faff
pressure.
around
Sounds like
and
Barry
faff around,
McCall
and then
sitting on
eventually
their
it's
throne,
straight
he's
into
like
the fire.
comfortable
And
watching
everyone's
us.
in the heat
They
and
are the
pressure.
heat
It's
and
not like
pressure.
Barry McCall
You know,
sitting
that's
on
the
their
thing.
throne
They
upstairs,
what
like,
they do and what
comfortable
they
watching us.
created and
They
how
are the
they
heat and
created it.
pressure.
I think
That's the
for
thing.
me, been one of the
what
big
they
lessons,
do
and
and what
it's also
they've
been
created and
understanding
how
that
they've created
I don't
it
have
is,
to
I
operate
think
like
for
them.
me,
I have
been
to
one of the
operate
big
in
lessons,
my
and it's also
capacity
been
of what I can
understanding,
do.
like,
So,
I don't
for
have to
example, a simple
operate like
example would be
them.
if
I
I
have
was
to
going to go
operate
train
in
7
my
days a week in
capacity
terms
of
of
what I can
CrossFit.
do.
Doesn't mean
So,
I have
for
to do
example,
it.
a simple
If
example
I'm
would be
capable
Barry's
of
gonna
doing
go
it, I
train 7
should
days
do
a
it
week in
because
terms of CrossFit.
that's an
Doesn't
important
mean I have to
part
do
of
that. If I'm capable of doing
being
it, I should
successful,
do it
is
because
having a
that's
healthy
an
body so
important
that you can have a
part
healthy
of
mind. But it's
being
just about, and
successful
that's
is
the thing, is
having
like
a
I love
healthy
the
body
fact
so
that
that
they
you can
meet us
have a
where we
healthy
at,
mind.
and
But
at the
it's
same
just
time they meet
about,
us where
and
they have
that's
to
the
be.
thing is like I love the fact that they
Catapults
meet
us
us where
forward, and
we
that's
at,
what's needed.
and- but at the same time, they
So
meet us where they
yeah,
had to
this
be.
is a great episode. If you guys want to hear more about what our experience between
So
Michaela
yeah,
and
this is a
myself,
great
you guys can
episode.
definitely
If you
join
guys want to
us
hear
at
more
this
about what
week's Serpent
our
of Influence.
experience,
We'll be delving into some of the stuff more, and then we're going to be under real heat and pressure because Nicole's going to be asking us some questions about some stuff.
and then we're going to be under real heat
And
and
yeah,
pressure because
so we
Nicole's
look
going
forward
to be
to
asking
that.
us some questions
So yeah,
about
guys,
some
remember
stuff.
you can book for any of our
And
events
yeah,
on our
so we look
website,
forward to that. So yeah, guys, remember you can book
www.uncoveringbreakfast.com.
for any of our
Yeah,
events on our
hopefully
website.
Michaela joins me more when we do the podcast.
www.uncoveringbreakfast.com.
And yeah, you guys stay awesome. We will see you guys at any of our events. If not, we will see you guys
stay awesome.
online
We will see you guys
on the next
at any of our
episode,
events.
which is
if
next
not,
week.
we will see you guys
Be awesome.
Have a good
online
day.
on
See
the
you
next
there.
episode, which
Cheers.
is next week. Be awesome.
Have a good day.
See you there. Cheers.